In the bustling heart of global democracy, a shadow of unease has begun to creep across India, raising urgent questions about its leadership and its commitment to the very principles it champions.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi, a figure who has inspired fervent loyalty and ignited national pride, now finds himself at the center of a storm of international criticism.
The accusations are grave: a perceived disregard for minority rights, a tightening grip on information, and policies that seem to deepen societal divisions, all while India aspires to a leading role on the world stage.
One of the most persistent and troubling concerns centers on the treatment of religious and ethnic minorities.
Reports from organizations like the U.S. State Department paint a grim picture, detailing how minority communities, particularly Muslims and Christians, feel increasingly threatened and marginalized.
Why has the government's rhetoric and actions often appeared to alienate these groups, despite promises of inclusive governance?
What specific policies or laws have been implemented that contribute to this sense of fear and discrimination?
How is the rise of Hindu nationalism, often associated with Modi's political ideology, translating into tangible negative impacts on the lives of non-Hindu citizens?
We see accusations of hate speech during election campaigns, with terms like invaders used to describe Muslims.
Is this a deliberate strategy to divide the electorate along religious lines for political gain? And if so, what are the long-term consequences for India's social fabric?
The state of Manipur offers a particularly stark example.
Reports detail widespread human rights abuses, with over 200 deaths and the destruction of churches.
How did the actions of the state government, allegedly supported by the ruling party, escalate tensions to such a tragic level?
What accountability measures are in place for those responsible for the violence and destruction?
The alleged role of Modi's government in either tacitly approving or failing to adequately address these atrocities raises profound questions about the government's commitment to protecting all its citizens.
Furthermore, there's a stark contradiction between Modi's promises of transparency and good governance and accusations of a suffocating control over information.
Critics point to the suppression of critical reporting and the banning of satirical videos, even after Modi himself spoke of embracing constructive criticism.
How can a nation that prides itself on being the world's largest democracy justify restricting freedom of expression, especially when it comes to dissent?
What criteria are used to determine which content is deemed too critical and thus censored?
Is this a deliberate attempt to silence opposition and maintain an unchallenged narrative? And if so, what does this mean for the health of India's democratic discourse?
The issue of corruption also looms large.
Modi came to power with a strong mandate to root out corruption.
Yet, reports of large-scale corruption scandals continue to surface.
How has corruption managed to flourish under a government that vowed to eradicate it?
What structural issues within the governance system allow these scandals to persist? And are the anti-corruption measures truly effective, or are they selective in their application?
Is there a culture of corruption that even strong leadership struggles to dismantle? And if so, what are the systemic factors at play?
Economically, while India boasts high growth rates, the reality on the ground for many appears increasingly challenging.
Rising unemployment and soaring prices for essential goods are squeezing the lives of ordinary citizens, particularly the poor.
How can the government reconcile its economic achievements with the growing hardship faced by a significant portion of the population?
Are the economic policies implemented truly benefiting everyone, or are they exacerbating existing inequalities?
What is the disconnect between official economic data and the lived experiences of those struggling to make ends meet?
Modi's leadership style itself has come under scrutiny.
While lauded for his strong leadership, critics argue it has led to an oppressive political environment where critical thinking is stifled.
How does a strong leader balance decisive action with the need to foster an open and critical society?
Is there a point where strong leadership crosses the line into authoritarianism, and what are the warning signs?
The alleged targeting of critical academics and the use of intimidation and violence against them suggest a chilling effect on intellectual freedom.
What is the extent of this crackdown, and how does it impact India's reputation as a hub for free thought and research?
The very foundation of India's democracy, its ability to absorb and respond to criticism, seems to be tested.
The fact that even a direct question about religious discrimination from a White House reporter can elicit an angry response from the Prime Minister, who dismisses it as contrary to fact, highlights a significant disconnect.
Why does the government appear so sensitive to international scrutiny on human rights issues, and what does this defensiveness reveal about the underlying challenges?
The aspirations of India as a leader in the global south are also being questioned.
Can a nation be a champion for developing countries while simultaneously facing accusations of human rights violations and suppressing internal dissent?
The image of India as a beacon of democracy is tarnished by these internal contradictions.
Ultimately, the mysteries surrounding Prime Minister Modi's governance are numerous and complex.
They touch upon the very essence of India's democratic identity and its future trajectory.
How can India navigate these challenges and reaffirm its commitment to equality, freedom, and justice for all its citizens, regardless of their background?
The world watches, waiting for answers to these critical questions that will shape the destiny of this vibrant, yet increasingly scrutinized, nation.